Hello everyone. In this session, we'll try to understand what is Docker Swarm, why we need Docker Swarm. So, why Docker daemon is consist of this Docker Swarm? There are two types of modes we can say. One is Docker Swarm mode, and another one is Docker daemon mode or Docker engine mode. What do you mean by Docker Swarm mode and Docker engine mode? See, in my system, the Docker engine is running. So here you can see the status of the Docker desktop. When I open the Docker desktop, Docker engine is running, and the Docker desktop is also consist of the Kubernetes. Now the Kubernetes we have disabled. That is why we are not seeing the Kubernetes option here. You can see where Kubernetes option we have disabled in the Docker desktop. In there you will be having an option of settings. You can click on that. So you will see the Kubernetes option. We have disabled that. So Docker Swarm is it is just like Kubernetes. You can use the Kubernetes, or if you don't want to use the Kubernetes, you can also use the Docker Swarm. So Docker Swarm is the functionality and the usage of the Docker Swarm is same as Kubernetes. And there are other multiple differences are there between the Kubernetes and Docker Swarm. We'll try to understand the differences in upcoming sessions. In now we will try to understand what is the usage of the Docker Swarm, why we require the Docker Swarm. So when we in my system, if you see the Docker node ls, we are not running any nodes here. So the response from the daemon is this node is not a swarm manager. Now whatever the Docker engine is running, it is a Docker daemon mode. We have not converted our Docker node or Docker engine to swarm mode. So there is no swarm mode because it is a Docker daemon mode, hence we are saying there is no Docker swarm is enabled for this daemon. So if you want to do, the daemon is giving an instruction, you can do the Docker swarm in it. So now consider why we need the Docker swarm. Okay, so you can just imagine in the real time project when we are working. So there in the production there will be a multiple number of virtual machines, right, or multiple systems will be there. So the managing of those systems will be very difficult and it will be a concern for us in any operations team. So how do you manage the multiple systems? Say for example we have an application 1, and in this application, or we can say application 1, and this application is hosted in machine 1. It may be virtual machine or anything, or Docker daemon machine 1, and this is having multiple containers. Multiple containers are running in this machine. So application 1 is there in the machine 1 and multiple containers are running there. And same in the production, again we have another application, the application 2 and the machine 2. In that machine 2 we have the Docker is installed, and again multiple containers are running, container 1, container 2, container 3, so on. And the same we have another machine for application 3. So in the same application 3 is running machine 3, and we have the multiple containers which are these containers are related to the application 3. That means container 1, 2, 3 and so on. So how do you manage these machines is a difficult task for us. So how do you manage the machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, which in these machines the production applications are running? So we can say this machine, we can also call in a Docker terms, I can call this machine is a node. I can call this machine as a node. This is a node 1, and the second machine is node 2, and this third machine is node 3. We can call it as a node 1, machine 1, the Docker daemon is running. We can call node 1, or you can also can say it's a cluster. So the cluster 1, it's a cluster, so node 1, or you can say it's a cluster 1. It's a cluster 2. Cluster 2, and this one is a cluster 3. So these we have the multiple clusters we have, or multiple nodes, or multiple machine. You can refer whatever the names you want. So managing these clusters, I know I am referring, instead of machines I am referring as clusters. So managing these clusters will be a difficult task now. So how do you manage these clusters is important. So here we comes with a Docker Swarm. So I'll delete this as well. So we have the 3 machines. So 3 machines are having 3 applications, the production applications, and these 3 applications can be managed by Docker Swarm. So these cluster 1, cluster 2 and cluster 3 is managed by Docker Swarm. So let us go to the slides. So Swarm mode is an advanced feature for managing a cluster of Docker daemons. That means, in a simple words, we have the multiple servers we have, or multiple machines we have. In the multiple machines we have the multiple Docker daemons are running. All the Docker daemons which applications are running inside a machine, we can call it as a clusters. Those clusters can be managed by Docker Swarm. So in terms of Kubernetes also, the job is same. There in the Kubernetes also we manage the clusters or nodes. So in the Docker Swarm also we can do the same thing. Again, there are difference between the Docker Swarm and the Kubernetes. So if you see this diagram, in a Docker Swarm we have the multiple nodes. Like, as I am just repeating again, the node is nothing but it's a machine. So this is a manager machine, and these 3 are the worker machines. To understand more, I am, instead of referring as a node, I am just referring as a machine, so that it will be easy for you to understand in a better way. So this is the machine 1, machine 2 and machine 3. These are the worker machines, and this is a manager machine. So the Docker Swarm, again it is in the production. The Swarm is managing these nodes, the worker node 1, worker node 2 and worker node 3. So now coming to the how we can create these nodes. Say now whatever the Docker desktop is running in my system, it is one daemon, it's only one node. How you will convert this node into Docker Swarm? So there is a command, you can just say Docker Swarm init. So my machine, my Docker, where my Docker daemon is running, it is converted into Swarm mode. So now I can attach other machines to this Docker Swarm. So if you want to remove Docker Swarm mode, you can just say Docker Swarm leave. So it is telling the Docker daemon is attempting to leave the Swarm on a node that is participating in a manager. So that means my machine is a manager. So now this machine is a manager node. My Docker daemon it comes under manager node. So how do you remove my machine as a Docker Swarm mode? You can just say Docker Swarm leave. The forcefully, if you want to remove it. If you want to mention the complete name, you have to mention two hyphen hyphen, or if you want to mention only one hyphen, you can just say hyphen and f. So now node left the swarm. Node means the machine. So now node is left the swarm. When I say docker node ls, see in the error response, this node is not a swarm manager, because my docker daemon is, it's just a docker engine mode or docker daemon mode. It's not a swarm mode. Hence it is not showing any node ls. That means it is not listing all the nodes, because it is not a swarm, because there are no other machines are tagged to my swarm. So hence it is, daemon is telling there is no other nodes or other machines are tagged to your machine. So how do you docker node ls? See, now let us init again. Let us create the docker swarm again. See, now the docker swarm is initiated. Now if you enter the same command, docker node ls, it should display the list of nodes attached or list of machines attached to your docker daemon. There is only one. We have not attached any other machines or any other nodes to my docker swarm, so that is why we are seeing only one. What is this star? What is this id? This is an id of the node id where my docker daemon is running. What is the meaning of this star? The star, it represents, it's a manager node. The host name is docker desktop and it is ready, it's an active, and the manager status is leader, and engine version, docker engine version is 27.2. Let us move further. So as a docker manager, it manages all other worker nodes. Swarm mode is an advanced feature for managing a cluster of docker daemons. Current version of docker includes swarm mode for natively managing the cluster of docker engines. That means the my docker swarm mode is natively managing all the clusters of the docker engines. That means multiple machines it will manage, as I given in a example also. Same thing. Use the docker CLI to create a docker swarm. Already we are using the docker command line interface to create a docker swarm. Docker swarm mode is built into the docker engine when you install the docker engine. So in my system we have installed the docker engine, how it is running as part of the docker desktop it got. So when you see the status, it's the docker engine is running. Cluster management integrated with the docker engine. Cluster management, it is a management of the docker other docker daemons. That's what the docker swarm says. So that means swarm is, it is integrated with the docker engine itself. You don't need to additional orchestration software to create a manage a swarm. So you no need of any other additional tools. But if you want to use the Kubernetes, again you need some other third-party tools and all. Maybe it is required to run. But if you consider the docker swarm as it is built in with the docker engine itself, you no need of any other additional orchestration softwares. What is this orchestration? It's again managing all the containers, applications and all. So for each service, you can declare the number of tasks you want to run. When you scale up or down, the swarm manager automatically adapts by removing the task to maintain the desired state. The swarm manager node constantly monitors the cluster state and reconciles any difference between the actual state and the expressed desired state. That means whenever the containers are running inside this cluster or nodes, so if any one container is down, the docker swarm should be able to reconcile. That means it will automatically restart the container again. And if it is if you want to upgrade the number of containers due to load balance and all, using the docker swarm command, when you are running, when you mention the replicas means this one container should run in like 3 replicas should be running. If you want to if you mention those replicas, say if you say the replica set is 10, so it will maintain always the container count which are running inside the particular node. The docker swarm will taken care, it will take care. That means your application never be down. So it will it's scaling up, scaling down of your applications, your docker swarm itself, it takes care. Not required to do anything. The only thing you need to define when you are running the container or services, you need to mention the replica sets are required, how many replica sets are required. That's the advantage of docker swarm. In upcoming sessions we will also see how to create a replica set and how to initialize the containers, like multiple containers, how the Docker Swarm will take care. So we have seen the different Swarm in commands. Swarm init, it will just make your Docker daemon to initialize, and it will make your Docker daemon to Docker Swarm mode. Docker service ls, it will define if any services are running inside a Docker Swarm mode. So now if you see Docker service ls, Docker service ls, it, because now no other services are running. Now in a Docker daemon mode we refer it as a containers, right? Now each container we call it as a service. So that we will also see in next sessions. So Docker Swarm leave, when you type this one, your Docker Swarm mode become Docker um, daemon mode. So Docker Swarm join. So now we have seen right here multiple machines can be tagged and managed by one Docker Swarm. See, now my Docker system is a Docker Swarm. If you want to attach other machines here to this manager, so that, see here only one node you are seeing, only one machine is tagged, right? Only one machine is there in Docker Swarm. If you want to add other machines, what you need to do, you need to write this command Docker Swarm join. That means other node or other cluster where the Docker daemon is running and other applications are running, those will get joined to this swarm, the same join. So Docker Swarm join, this is a token. What is this SWM? That means it's a Docker Swarm mode token. Swarm mode token, this is a token. And what is the machine IP address and machine port number? You need to enter that to join to this system. So you will get the result, this node is joined as a Swarm manager. So how do you get this token? Again, whenever if you want to join other clusters to this Docker Swarm, how do you get this token? See, when you are initializing Docker init itself, it will give the token. But if you want to generate other tokens, you can get it like one cluster or one node. If you want to join it as a manager, you can say Docker Swarm join token. This is a command, Docker Swarm join token. If you say, it will give the, this is the join token you can use to join it, right? So 65.32377, so that means this command you have to run in that cluster, so that will join into this mode. And if you want to join cluster as a worker node, that means worker node, you need to give this command. Instead of here join token manager, you need to mention join token worker. So this will give another token. So this token you can use to join to this machine. So this command you have to run in the particular cluster node, so that it will join to the Docker Swarm. So how do you leave, how you will convert your Docker Swarm into normal Docker daemon mode? You can just say Docker Swarm leave, it will just leave the as a Docker Swarm mode. Error response from the daemon, it says you are attempting to leave the Swarm node, that it is participating as a manager. That means it's a manager. If you remove the last manager, erases all current state of the Swarm. It will just erase everything, whatever the cluster whatever it is managing, right? Say for example the replica sets, how many services should run, those information, everything will get erased. So you can do it forcefully to overcome that warning. So it will just say node left the Swarm. That means this node, whatever this node, that means this machine, it is not in the Swarm, it is just left the Swarm. Still whatever other machines, if it is tagged, those will be there, but this cluster or this machine, it just left that Swarm. So that's all about like high level information regarding the Docker Swarm. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to raise in the comment session. Yeah, thank you.